I don't know what to do about this insanely weird thing that I found. I, 22 female, have two brothers, 25 male, Bryson, and 32 male, Jake. Jake found out his ex-wife had been cheating on him about a year and a half ago. They didn't have any kids, so the divorce was simple. Around the time their divorce was finalized, Jake started dating Melanie, 24 female. Melanie has been friends with Bryson since middle school. He's never said it out loud, but it's been obvious that he's had a thing for her for a very long time, and his feelings were never reciprocated. At least, it's obvious to me. Maybe it's not obvious to other people. Anyway, Jake and Melanie have been dating at this point for about 9 months. As far as I know, Bryson has never said anything about it and has never acted like he had any issue with it. They go to family events all the time. He's friends with both of them, acts totally normal. Here's the weird part. My laptop broke and I needed to attend a meeting for work, so I asked my brother Bryson if I could borrow his laptop. He said sure and lent it to me. At one point, I accidentally minimized the window and I was looking for it. I accidentally opened up a folder that he had minimized but not closed all the way out. It was filled, and I mean absolutely filled, with every picture, post, comment that Melanie has ever put on social media. There were pictures of her where it doesn't look like she's looking, pictures of her taken far away, pictures of her from years and years ago. It was a lot. Like seriously, a lot of these pictures. I didn't want to be nosy, so I didn't look that much, but I saw enough to know that it was a lot. Is he stalking her? I definitely don't think this is normal. Who do I tell? I don't want him to think I was snooping on purpose, but at the same time, it was strange. What do I do? Okay, so I went to Bryson and told him that I saw the pictures of Melanie on his computer, hoping that maybe he had a reason for it, some sort of explanation. He freaked out on me, like yelling, telling me I'm a piece of shit snooping through his things. He told me that I better not say anything to Jake and Melanie, but obviously I'm going to. I had told Melanie to meet me at my house after work, but then I started to get in my own head about Bryson. I went on the computer and saw he was active on Steam. If he was playing video games, he was at home, so I told my friend to come with me to where Melanie works so we could talk on the way home. We met her outside and she was like, "Oh, I was just about to go to your place after I swung by Bryson's." And she said that Bryson had texted her at work too and told her to come by his place because he had something to give her. So I told her everything and showed her the picture I had of the folder. She was really confused, but when I told her about Bryson's reaction to me finding out, she got freaked out. She called Jake and told him everything. We went back to their place and I told Jake the full story of what I saw. He didn't have much of a reaction at first. He just made me write everything down. What I saw, down to every last detail. We spent about an hour and a half writing down the descriptions of every single picture I remembered seeing and writing down exactly what Bryson said verbatim. Bryson started calling her phone because she hadn't come by after work. Jake answered it and told him not to contact Melanie anymore, then hung up. Jake left and he went to the police first to let them know what was going on. Then he went over to Bryson's house. I really don't know what happened there, but when he came back, he was mad and took a shower to calm down before he talked to us. Basically, all he said was that he was going to call the cops. I told him everything I saw and then spent a long time talking to Melanie. They told both of us to delete and block him from everything and told Melanie to call them if he tries to show up at her place or at work. I'm not sure if they talked to Bryson or not, but as far as I know, he hasn't contacted Melanie since. But Jake has also rearranged his work schedule so he's walking her to and from work, and her boss knows, so they'll all be keeping an eye out for her there too. Jake told us to stay out of it and that he's the only one that will deal with Bryson. Would I be wrong if I tell my best friend about her boyfriend's surprise wedding plans, even though he asked me to keep it a secret? I, 25 female, have a best friend Sarah, 26 female. Sarah's boyfriend Adam recently called me to discuss a surprise wedding. He wants me to distract Sarah the whole day and surprise her with her family and all of our friends back home, and they get married in their backyard. I told him I'm not sure this is what she wants, knowing she would hate this and she hates surprises, but I didn't want to hurt his feelings. As Sarah loves organizing and planning things, she has talked about getting married previously and wants a winter wedding. Sarah had recently confided in me about drifting from Adam and thinking about taking a break. I was quite shocked to hear Adam planning a wedding, a surprise one at that, in front of all of our family and friends. I encouraged him to instead have a more intimate proposal as opposed to a surprise wedding, but Adam told me that I don't know what Sarah wants and he knows better. There is no girl in this world who wants a surprise wedding. No, never, ever. I told him to talk to her about what she wants in a wedding. Hopefully, she would bring up her winter wedding or what she told me about her relationship to him. Adam is insisting on the surprise wedding, however, and says he will ask Sarah's sister to distract her on the day instead. I told him I feel obligated to tell her, as I know she hates surprises and I want her to feel prepared, not ambushed at this event. He is calling me an asshole. I did initially agree to keep this plan a secret, but that was when I thought it was a private proposal, and even then asked him to discuss the future with her first. I don't want to cause drama in their relationship by telling Sarah, and I could be the asshole if I do. I would ask my boyfriend for advice, but he can't keep a secret and works with Adam. I feel obligated to tell her, as if it was me, I would want to know. If it's something she does want, however, I could see how I could be the asshole. Also, as Adam has told me about it, so I feel if I stayed silent and she hated the surprise and then she found out I knew the whole time, she would be upset. I, 32 female, purposely ignored what my husband, 34 male, told me he wanted for Father's Day. He's ignoring me now and won't accept my apologies. What can I do to make it up to him? My husband and I have been together for the past 9 years. We have 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old. For Mother's Day, all I wanted was a free day. I wanted my husband to take the kids out somewhere for the day so I could be at home alone and relax. Instead, he got me and the kids tickets to have a fun day out, and it was fun and me and the kids had a good time, but it irked me that he gave me the exact opposite of what I'd asked for. For Father's Day, my husband also wanted a free day so he could stay home and game all day. He games all the time with his friends. He'll get home from work, maybe spend the time between then and dinner with the kids before going up to his office to game for a few hours with friends. Instead, I got him and the kids cards for an arcade an hour away with tons of tokens. I gave him the cards during dinner on Saturday so he and the kids could leave early and spend all day playing with them. I got my free day and he and the kids got to make a lot of memories together. He and I got into a fight when the kids went to bed. He was angry that I ignored what he wanted for Father's Day. I was angry that he didn't see that he'd done the same thing to me on Mother's Day. He's been ignoring me since and won't accept my apologies. Quick edit. Some people are thinking that me, my husband, and our kids went out for Mother's Day. We didn't. I took the kids for a day out while he played video games all day with his friends.
Am I wrong for making my daughter miss once-in-a-lifetime events, homecoming and senior year, and deleting all her social media for bullying? So yesterday, I was informed that my daughter Sam was a part of a group of students who bullied another girl. The bullying was to the point that the girl actually ended up switching schools and there was a racial aspect to the bullying. This came as a complete shock since me and my wife truly do our best to raise our 3 kids to be kind and honest. I don't believe that a grounding and a confiscation of electronics was harsh enough for what Sam did. So I told Sam that she won't be allowed to participate in homecoming or attend senior prom. And in addition, she won't be getting a car for her 18th birthday anymore. And finally, I told her she has to delete all her social media accounts with either me or her mother watching. Now, Sam begged me to allow her to go to senior prom because it is a once-in-a-lifetime event and just keep her Instagram account, because it had pictures going back years that weren't saved anywhere else. Am I wrong for making my daughter miss once-in-a-lifetime events, homecoming and senior prom, and delete all her social media as punishment for bullying? So I told her she won't be allowed to participate in homecoming or attend senior prom. Also that she won't be getting a car for her birthday, and finally she had to delete all her social media. Sam begged me to allow her to go to senior prom because it is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and to please keep her Instagram because it had pictures going back years that weren't saved anywhere else. But I told her that she shouldn't have been a racist bully. My parents are temporarily staying with us while their house is undergoing renovations, and they agree it was completely out of line and she must be punished, but they think that making my daughter miss homecoming and senior prom and forcing her to delete social media is way too far. Top comment says, this seems appropriate to the level of offense here, especially the deletion of social media accounts. That said, there's still a chance to teach the idea of repentance and redemption. Am I wrong for wearing short shorts to the gym even after being asked to stop by a woman's husband? So I'm a big guy who works out daily and I go to 3 gyms regularly. I wear and have worn what we lovingly call Ranger panties, which are short shorts. Think along the lines of Magnum PI. I do typically get attention for this, but it's usually just old men that roll their eyes. Now listen, occasionally the women do stare, but nothing out of control, and I've been doing it for years. Well, recently, a woman joined my gym that seems to be obsessed with my legs. Every time she sees me, she'll come over. Well, the other day, her husband came with her and proceeded to have a mental breakdown over his wife actually talking to me. So he comes over and he asks me if I thought my shorts were appropriate. I responded by asking him not to objectify me for being beautiful. This obviously got him more worked up and mad, and the staff got involved and asked me to cover up for a little while. Am I wrong for wearing short shorts to the gym even after being asked to stop by a woman's husband? I responded by asking him not to objectify me for being beautiful, which made him very mad and got him upset. The staff did get involved and they asked me to cover up for a bit, so I said sure, but the next day I came in smaller shorts with a long sleeve shirt. And what do you know, he was with her and lost his mind. The staff came over and spoke with me again, but I told them I've been working out like this for years. Not to mention, I've also seen women wear a hell of a lot less, so I would not be changing anytime soon. They just shrugged and walked away, but am I wrong? Top comment says, I mean, that level of petty is dangerously close to asshole territory, but I just can't be mad at him. The boyfriend was way out of line. My personal opinion is this is a conversation that needs to be held between the husband and his wife. Am I wrong for telling my family that I will move and they'll never see me or my daughter again if they don't stop trying to set me up? My wife passed away suddenly after giving birth to our daughter 5 years ago, and my parents and sisters have spent the last 4 years telling me to move on. But literally, you guys, I cannot. You know how amputees get phantom pain and they're missing limbs? It feels like that. Except it's everything that's missing. For example, I took my daughter to a street performers festival in my city and my heart ached because I went to buy some kettle corn and I hate kettle corn, but my wife loved it. I was buying something that I hate for someone who isn't even here. And recently, my mother did the cruelest thing I can imagine. She told my daughter that she should ask for a new mommy for her birthday. And I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't polite in how I dealt with it. I told her that if her or my sisters ever tried to bring a woman into my life, I would leave the city with my daughter and they would never see us again. Am I wrong for telling my family that I will move and they'll never see me or my daughter again if they don't stop trying to set me up? My mother did the cruelest thing I can imagine and told my daughter that she should ask for a new mommy for her birthday. I wasn't polite in dealing with it and told her if her or my sisters ever tried to bring a woman into my life, I would leave the city with my daughter and they'd never see us again. Now all of my sisters and my father have called me to yell at me for threatening my mother and them. They say that they're only trying to help and I'm not accepting the inevitable. Top comment says, excuse me, the inevitable? So you're just supposed to get over it and be fine? Grief doesn't work that way. My darling's been dead for 5 years and it's every bit as awful as it was. What your family is doing is simply awful and I've had friends to do that and I blocked every single one. Your grief is your own and there's no timetable. I'm so sorry for your lost love and please take care. I completely agree.
I started seeing my husband's mistress's husband. Story time. So I met my husband about 10 years ago and I loved him for our entire marriage. We have 2 kids together and I found out a year ago that my husband has been seeing his colleague. And I literally cannot explain the pain I felt when I found out. I felt ugly, undesirable, stupid, and I got obsessed with this other woman who we'll call Amy. Through this obsession, I obviously found out who her husband was. And we'll call the husband Steve. Turns out I actually had mutual friends with Steve, and he had no clue. So I contacted him and I told him everything that was going on with our spouses. So we were talking back and forth for about a week, and after that time, we both knew what we wanted. And let me tell you, this man is a god. So after seeing each other a few times just for revenge, we started to realise that we actually did really like each other. We started seeing each other at least once a week and I wish I could see him more. We came to the conclusion that since we had each other, it didn't really matter what our spouses did. I really don't want my kids to grow up in 2 different homes, and he knows that a divorce would just be far too costly for him as well. And I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I low-key love the game of it all. Alrighty, let's talk about my thoughts on this one. Surely I'm not the only one that's thinking like, we should just do a bit of a wife swap. And she says that she doesn't want her kids to grow up in 2 different households. However, I feel like it's probably a little bit more healthy for the kids if this doesn't all blow up in the end, that they know that everything was handled amicably and everyone's happy. I mean, let's face it, oh, that's not a mirror. Not a single person in this situation is happy in their relationship.